r/AskReddit. What made the weird kid at your school weird? He shit himself regularly, deliberately. That's often a sign of abuse and/or trauma. He walked around like Master Chief, even teabagged the ground randomly, all while holding an invisible assault rifle. Did he walk like he was holding the assault rifle? He always carried around a briefcase, but never opened it, sat on the briefcase during lunch, classes, etc. It was like the nuclear football, always in his hand or he was sitting on it. He carried it onto the stage during graduation, got his diploma. Right as he was leaving the stage, he opened it up and dumped a bunch of confetti on the principal. I guess it was the long con. No one questioned why he was carrying it on stage. He truly thought he was a dirt bike. He would run through the halls jumping off of lockers and make the shifting gears noises with his mouth. Absolute mad lad. He was on a hair trigger, would snap and threaten people. Suspended multiple times. 2 memorable incidents were when we freaked out at an art teacher, went to his locker and came back with a bullwhip. He made that thing snap and sent everyone running. She barricaded herself in the supply room. Another time someone made the mistake of teasing him about something and everyone laughed, and he pulled a knife and screamed, "Who wants to be the first to die?" He was expelled and I'm not sure what became of him. Imagine sitting in class thinking the weird kid is gonna retrieve his gun but instead brings a ducking bullwhip. He would have full conversations, arguments, and sometimes physical altercations with a brick column in the middle of the cafeteria. Weird, I didn't have any weird kids in school. Oh no. He wrote his crush's name on the wall in the bathroom, with his own shit. They caught him brown-handed. Also would freak out if someone said werewolf. He was always running around in the shape of a 8. If you just said hello to him he started screeching and attacked you with his lunchbox, and once he ate a Kit Kat with a plastic. She was afraid of cows and if you said moo or mentioned cows she'd freak out and attack you. I'll give it to her though, she'd even try to attack guys 3 times her size that were athletes. There is a kid at my school and he can't put his laptop down. Eating lunch. On his laptop. As soon as he finishes a test. On his laptop. And we were all wondering what he could put his laptop down for. So one kid asked him. He was designing Minecraft skins and watching Minecraft videos. His go-to excuse for not having homework finished was that he was traveling, even though he was at every class, and he never paid attention to anything but his fidget spinner unless he was talking. The way he spoke, he knew everything there was about creative writing, yet his submissions consisted of plots ripped off directly from anime. This was in a college class. I had a girl hiss at me in 5th grade, hadn't seen her in about 16 years, recently went to a party she was attending. She asked if I remembered her and said boy howdy, she hissed again. I always knew she was weird. I went to high school with the wolf kid from the meme, on all levels except physical. I am a wolf, next image is him barking at the water. He called himself Wolfie, so I would say that guy. Mustard boy, I'll never forget him. He would cover his lunch tray in mustard, chicken nuggets, mustard, Mexican pizza, mustard, breakfast for lunch, mustard. It didn't matter what it was, he would drench it in mustard. He wasn't doing it just to make a mess of his lunch tray. He always finished his mustard food. Edit. Mexican pizza was a hexagon-shaped pizza with sausage and shredded taco seasoned cheese on top. It wasn't at all Mexican, but that's what it was called. They thought they were an immortal vampire, and walked around talking and acting the part. He would jack off in the middle of class. He didn't actually pull it out, but he would aggressively rub the side of his pants and his face would get really red while staring at the girls in the class. Everybody noticed but a word was never spoken about it. I knew a kid that would do that during math class while reading a book about kayaking. It was really distracting. She carried a stuffed rabbit everywhere, only wore leggings, and constantly propositioned people to have a threesome with her and her boyfriend. Edit. She wore leggings as pants, and this was before that became a trend. I had a locker above his and he always yelled something stupid. The most common phrase was "I got balls in my face." He also somehow brought koala poop to the school. Edit. There was a possibility that it really wasn't koala poop, but it was small brown pellets in a small bag with a koala on it. My weird kid stood up at an assembly and asked the vice principal if she knew what hentai was. Edit. She did not comment on whether or not she did. He was just told to sit down because the students immediately started laughing. Sorry for the unsatisfying ending. We had like 3 weird kids tbh. The first one was the guy that I saw pour an entire bottle of water onto a sandwich and then eat the sloppy mess, making weirdly appreciative noises. He's the one that ended up coming to school with a gun, but according to our school, handed himself into the police. The second was some kid that never showered. Apparently had a Russian girlfriend who was pregnant, but he had no evidence of this girlfriend. Had some weird obsession with making stabby things out of anything. And lastly was this girl that literally just wanted to fight everyone. Looked like a space raider and said a shitload of racist and homophobic stuff. She ended up leaving the school after she picked a fight with the wrong person. Edit. Holy shit, I wasn't expecting this to blow up. Space raiders are a type of British crisp, but you Americans call them chips. I am in fact from England, not Florida, haha. He shit at school. Weird enough, but would have the cubicle door open. He would then wipe his butt, then hold the tissue up to his face and smell it. I'd like to just add, this all happened within 30 odd seconds or so. Me and a mate were going to the toilets to smoke before next lesson. The cubicles were around the corner from the urinals. When we turned the corner, lad who shall not be named, who might I add had no known learning disabilities or mental issues, wiped his bottom then sniffed the toilet paper that he'd just used to wipe his bumhole. True story. I don't condone being a pervert. However, yes, I may be weird, but in no way went into the toilets to see a pee-pee or some guy sniff his poo-poo. He ate playground gravel and used the urinal with his pants and underpants all the way down. Edit. Whoa, this blew up. I guess I'll just add that the kid I'm talking about ate the gravel because apparently he thought it tasted like pizza, and that I distinctly remember one time when me and a bunch of other kids were huddled around the bathroom door watching him do his business, and I just remember that bare ass and how weird it was that someone would use the urinal like that. His dad started a house fire, insurance scam, and died in the fire. This was around 6th grade. That messed him up a bit. The kid would tap his feet and hands uncontrollably, and he talked about shooting people. Looking back, now that we know what it is, most of the weird kids I knew growing up probably had depression, were abused, or were autistic. There was a kid in my school who was obsessed with Mario. He had Mario sweatshirts and notebooks, and a Mario backpack. Well, someone figured out that if you told him Mario is dead, he'd flip, scream and cry duck. You know he's not every time. He got in trouble multiple times for attacking kids who said anything about Mario dying, even if they were talking about in the context of Smash Bros or something. This happened 8th 10th grade, then I never saw him again. She wore bat ears and a black cape and would scream her name while running down the hallway Goku style. Her name was Elizabeth, but she asked that she be called Lizard. Edit. Apparently there are thousands of lizards running around the US and we are 100% about it. Long live the Lizard Queen. Second edit. Yes, I meant Naruto. I am anime illiterate. I apologize. He whistled, don't worry, be happy. Always. The Vine where a kid goes, I have the power of God and anime on my side, and screams like a banshee went to my middle school. He was maybe 4 grades underneath me, but his weirdness turned him into one of the most popular kids in his grade. Kid always wore a Zoot suit, every day. Not that weird, I guess, but back in high school, weird as duck. Edit. Some more details. These were not Salvation Army hand-me-downs quality. This kid wore nothing but high quality Zoot suits, with a chain and nice shoes to match. Every once in a while he had a chrome-tipped black cane. He had bright colored ones, pinstriped ones, dark blue ones, and pure black ones. Didn't see him with the hat very often though. This was in 2005-6. I think he won Best Dressed in the yearbook. I don't have one to confirm though. Edit number 2. A letter. He brought a used condom he found into school. Kid looked exactly like Teabag from Prison Break. Instantly was treated as if he had the same personality and so was seen as weird. He once asked me to be his gay slave, so I don't even know how to feel about that. I just wanted some Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I wasn't even going to use. Not exactly the weird kid, but definitely the kid not many people wanted to interact with. Was very pushy, generally awkward. Also often tried being all cool by using big words but failing miserably. But the thing that took the cake was when some girl sent the entire grade something along the lines of say your name X times, say your parents' name X times, and then say your crush name X, and in a few days your crush will be with you. And he actually responded to the email. It was an awkward year till his crush left. Edit 1. The crush did not leave because of him or anything. This was an international school, so it was quite common that students would come and go. Plus the country we're in, not gonna mention name, is not in the best conditions these days, so that may have been one of the reasons. The reason I'm here is because of my mother's work. Anyway, thanks for all the upvotes. Edit 2. Thanks for the silver kind stranger. Admitting that he puts cucumbers and carrots up his ass and masturbates to his mum and sister. Also sucks his own dong. What the duck? Kid smelled like he bathed in cat pee every day. Hissed at anyone who came near him. Used to run through the hallways from class to class. Threatened to kill me in a computer lab because I used Internet Explorer instead of Firefox. Well, had one guy that was always talking big shit. Faking injuries. Bent my ankle so I can't practice, liver is burning etc. Always drew pentagrams on shit. Took Japanese so he could get a waifu. Just all around a ducking creep with girls too. Well, go arrested for CP here last month. I wasn't surprised. He was caught eating berries off of a tree branch in a compost trash can in 5th grade. He'd act feral around everyone else, but if you got to know the kid, he was actually pretty down to earth and cool. In middle school around 6th grade I tried getting to know him better and found out he might have had some kind of multiple personality disorder, and was grateful for someone who didn't judge him that much. I'd try my best to not get him to do stupid shit. He was later expelled for what everyone said was biting a teacher. I saw him once during high school and he got really ducking hot too. Seemed way chilled out. When I asked about why he left, he said he wasn't allowed to talk about it but was getting help, so that's always good. Gabe, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. He gave himself a swirly because nobody ever got one in the 3 years he was there. Edit. Forgot to mention. It was in the urinal. She was a furry who tried recruiting people into her newly founded furry religion, where the type of furry you were spiritually was based on your birthday, like some ducking astrology BS. She also had a boyfriend who was into the whole furry thing, but in a really weird sexual way, cause they'd make out on the floor or in the lounge areas and bark, growl at each other, and it just made everything uncomfortable for everyone. Edit. This happened in my first year of college, if that adds to the weirdness. Teachers had to make a public announcement banning people from making out and doing all that romantic stuff on campus BC of how bad it got. They would play tag and run around the cafeteria in high school. Acted extremely childish and had no manners. There were 2 of them. Half of me cringed from their doings. The other half envied their self-confidence and lack of care about what others thought. Edit. Pretty sure one was a furry. I'm looking through all these to make sure no one's talking about me. There was a girl in grade 5 that created her own language called Schmolby, and she'd sit in the corner and whisper to herself in it. People also used to tell her there were spiders on her hair and she'd get mad at them and scratch their faces. She purposely grew out the nails on her index, middle and ring fingers and filed them into sharp claws. To be fair, telling someone who is clearly not completely all there that they've got spiders in their hair is probably not going to end well for you. She ended up leaving the school in grade 6. Aside from that, in grade 3 I microwaved a kid's winter boots in our lunchroom because I thought they were the reason he ran faster than me. I was just fat. That was why he was faster. Edit. The crazy person was the first story, with my second story being a funny addition, but it seems as though everyone is more concerned about my boot heating antics. I accept the role of crazy. I am the crazy. Edit 2. Of course, the story where I go toss someone's boots into a radiation machine is my highest comment of all time. Thanks, I think. 3. He ended up being the valedictorian for my graduating class, but his refusal to use a locker and carry all of his textbooks in his backpack led to severe back issues, resulting in him wearing a backplate throughout high school. I believe he also has Asperger's, so he wasn't social either. In hindsight, she wasn't so weird. She just marched to the beat of her own drum. She was very overweight and had a lot of health issues, including more than one skin condition. So people saw her as gross, and they avoided her. I can remember all the way back in 1st or 2nd grade when we did dancing in gym class. No one wanted to be her partner because her hands were covered in scaly rashes. But she was smart and she had an odd sense of humor, and despite how everyone treated her, she was confident in herself and never hid any part of her personality. She was always the first to speak up in class and she challenged other people's opinions so readily. But at the same time, she was constantly falling asleep in class, and she snored so loudly. I remember she sat behind me during our AP exam for American history, and for the life of me I could not focus on my test because she was breathing so loud. She was incessantly bullied, to the point of being pity voted onto prom court. She had one real friend, and then a year after we graduated, she died completely unexpectedly. I remember waking up to go to work one morning and my best friend had texted me that she was dead, and I was absolutely shocked. Apparently, she had been out to dinner with her aunt, and on her way back to the table from the bathroom, she collapsed and they couldn't resuscitate her. They did an autopsy and couldn't confirm a cause of death. Her mother died about a week after she did and they had a joint funeral. Probably the saddest funeral I've been to. The worst part about her death was that I lived in a really small town, so it's all anyone was talking about for weeks. Her biggest bullies were some of the loudest voices. Some people from my graduating class held a memorial service for her where they sent off paper lanterns. But I couldn't get myself to go because it was full of all the people who made high school miserable for her. I couldn't bear to listen to them talk about how great she was, how beautiful she was, when they never held those sentiments when she was alive. Had one girl in my year who had a weird obsession with our physics teacher. Then in a lesson learning about spinning forces, she asked if she could show a cool video to the class. He said yes. The video was of her spinning on a pole in her underwear. When he sent her out, she was yelling the whole way, "Why? Are you saying that pole dancing is sexual? Cause that's sexist." She wore butt skimming skirts with fishnet tights and corsets on non-uniform day as well. Always got sent straight home. They ended up expelling her when we were about 17. I didn't talk to a whole lot of people in high school, so I usually just people watched with my friends. The weirdest kid had to be the guy who looked like Fat Thor. He wasn't muscular or nothing, just looked like him. He always had a dead look in his eyes and walked around slouched over. He wouldn't really bother about personal space either. He was just there, and if he got close to you then he got close to you. Wasn't really anything you could do about it. Honestly, almost like he was on another plane of existence. One walked around in high school with a stuffed possum and made it talk in class. Also went on a rant during a class debate about how much she hated Australia because a classmate from there rejected her. Had nothing to do with the debate topic. One claimed she was the CEO of her dad's company and made $1 million a year at 16. Also said she was the granddaughter of the King of Norway. She's not from Norway. Also tried to claim that her friend was killed during the 2011 Oslo terrorist attack. Again, not from Norway or Europe for that matter. Somehow I got classified as weird, but I'm really not sure why when I think about how many other weird kids went to my school. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.